Hello and welcome to Channel Sports on Sunday. I'm Cecilia Omogbe. On the show this afternoon, we'll be talking about the Super Eagles of Nigeria and how they can redeem themselves when they face Guinea-Bissau in the return leg in Morocco. Also, we'll talk about Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo. These guys are breaking records, becoming one of the greatest of all time. And also we'll talk about Kylian Mbappe, his captaincy for France, how they started on Friday, their win against the Netherlands, a 4-0, of course. What a way to bounce back after failing to win the World Cup at the nick of time. And also, we were talking about, well, what Nigerian Football Federation is saying concerning the Super Eagles' performance and also the apology coming from them, and try to dissect the reason why they have to reduce, the technical crew of the Super Eagles, the fact that you don't have all the support system at once in a particular game, and the fact that they have to, why some will be in camp at a particular time, others will be, and the reason is just for them to cut costs. That's according to the Nigeria Football Federation. Yes, we'll touch down on the sacking of Nagelsmann and also his replacement, Thomas Tuchel, and a German journalist will be joining us, Mario Leo, to dissect that. Well, Ken Ochonogo is in London, and of course, Agbolao is also here in the studio. All right, it's good to have you.
It's good to be back. It's good to be back. The Super Eagles of Nigeria, Cecilia, I have so much hope. I have so much expectations, especially with the fact that our players have been doing so well for their club sides. But with that display they put on that day and what the coach said after, it's just vibes.
Okay, vibes.
It's just vibes.
So let's go to London. Ken, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Sisi. Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon, Nigeria. The shocker has come. But let's see if we can redeem ourselves in the next 24 hours. Or let me say in the next 36 hours or so, because by 6 p.m. tomorrow, it will be a make or mar battle with Guinea-Bissau.
Yeah, they left the shores of the country this morning at exactly 7 a.m. So, well, they should be there by now, or maybe almost there. Mario Leo is in Germany joining us to talk about what happened, the shocking news that happened in Bayern. Good morning. It's good to have you join us.
Yes, very good morning, and all the greetings to Lagos and Nigeria. Yeah, Germany is waking up on Thursday night to a big surprise with the news that actually an international journalist, Fabrizio Romano, tweeted that Julian Nagelsmann's job is under threat, and nobody could believe it. And obviously, over the last 48, 72 hours, many stories appeared, and I look forward to a very deep conversation with you, the team, with Ken, to talk about FC Bayern and everything, how it unfolds.
All right. I think since you're here, we can just start up with that before we step down our Super Eagles and how we are mourning right here in Nigeria because we are not happy. We didn't go to the World Cup. We're thinking when the teams come back, the first game after the World Cup, they would definitely give something for us to cheer about. But it didn't happen for us right here in Nigeria. But then we'll go to Germany and talk about this big news that you mentioned earlier concerning Nagelsmann. But before we do that, let me start up with this. I mean, the German Bundesliga clubs happen to have the most attendance in Europe when it comes to games. How is that possible, and how are they doing it?
You meaning the results, the scores overall, how the performances go?
Yeah, the German clubs, German clubs, they have the most fan attendance. I mean, fans are always at the stadium every time. Right. Whenever games are going on. I'm not just saying fans always at the stadium, but the numbers, they have the most in the whole of Europe in terms of attendance.
Yes, apologies for just being a bit slow in getting it. No, you're absolutely right. I mean, the German Bundesliga, the German second division, the third division, we have a great following on fandom and fanships. And it's actually the way the clubs engage with the audience, because most of the German clubs are membership owned. We have a 50+1 ruling. There is there's no international investor sort of disengaging the fans locally from the team. And therefore there's a number of fan clubs who sort of worked or has been established at each club. And these fans, they have then a fan board to liaise with the club representatives. And then the club representatives basically talk and give guidance to these fan clubs. Because if you're a single fan, your power towards the club is very limited. But if you're organized in a fan club, your authority is increasing. Your members of the fan club sort of are also sort of bringing ideas. And that's why Germany and the German fan culture and the German fan clubs are very engaged with their clubs, are very, very enthusiastic about the engagement, and obviously then get some benefits. So therefore, we can have a season ticket for about 300 euros to watch all 17 home games in the standings, which is attractive for a 16-year-old, a 17-year-old, or a 20-year-old student, so it's not too overly expensive to attend a game. Because what we read, obviously, from the English Premier League, if you're a family and you want to go to the stadium, you have to think about 250, 300 pounds per match day. So obviously that's a big blockage for many of the families and sort of multiple groups to come together. So Germany is very, very strong in the engagement. The club's owners do know that they can rely on the fandom. And you can see that to the majority of, except the first Bundesliga, the second Bundesliga, the third league, the regional teams in the regional leagues, they obviously require 70, 80% of the annual turnover from ticketing. So they know that the fans are very important and very critical. Therefore, the price structures are very important. And obviously, like I said, the fan boards have a huge vocal authority and a huge vocal power when liaising with the clubs. And therefore, that's where it's a strong bond, a strong engagement of the fans with the local club. And that's why everybody turns up when the floodlights go on. That's why for me, sometimes it's very frustrating when I talk to the great Orga Keno Chonogo, and he says, yeah, we're having the reigning African champion in town, in River State, and then we just see 3,000, 4,000 fans in a 30, 40,000 seater stadium. It's frustrating, and that's why I want to bring in solutions. I want to help Nigerian football to flourish, to engage with the fans, because it's the key, it's the foundation, because they cheer us, they support us. And when you look what's happening in Morocco, especially last night when Morocco beat Brazil, amazing scenes. They want to see that. Yeah? When you see what's happening in Argentina becoming world champion, how the crowd carries the players, it's unbelievable. That's what we need to establish in Nigeria. That's what's possible in Nigeria, because football is all over the TV, all over the radio, all over the talks, in the coffee shops, in the markets and everywhere. We just need to establish Nigerian football's credibility. And that's something which will take some time, but I'm giving everything from myself to assist everybody who is wanted and in desire to help. I'm giving it all my knowledge to that.
Interesting you mentioned that about Nigeria trying to replicate what's happening in Germany. How do you intend to really help Nigerian clubs to achieve that?
It's a starting point. You need to get from a starting analysis where you currently are. And obviously many of the Nigerian clubs, they are linked to a governor, to a state. And obviously when you look what's happening in River State and how much effort Barrister Green is giving to the local sports, not only Rivers United or the local football, it's all sports. And people need to understand that the more active you are, the more sports, the more exercise you are, that your life is healthier, that your opportunities are becoming bigger, your chances are there, and it's a give and take. The club owners need to know that fans' voices are valued. Criticism is in Germany very well respected, because criticism means the fans want to improve the current situation. Discrimination, abuse, and harsh words, they don't help. We need fact-based criticism. We need fact-based improvements, step-by-step involving, and that's taken some trust by the club owners, but also trust from the fans that their voices are heard, that their voices are recognized, and that things are evolving. And it's a step-by-step process to involve Nigerian fandom, Nigerian football club support and engagement. And it doesn't need to happen tomorrow or next week. It's a process that everybody should understand. We want a fan relationship. And in Europe, you hear every week in the conversations, fan relationship management, customer audience engagement management, because it's what it's required, because the people know that they want to be appreciated and acknowledged when they come to the stadium. So it's an entire process which we need to review and analyze and look where we are. Some clubs are a little bit advanced. Some clubs have not have at all that relationship. And we can use social media as a means. We can create polls and saying what was good in the stadium visit, what was frustrating on your stadium visit, and then slowly improve and steadily improve. Both sides trust and both sides obviously process to enable a big success.
It's a long way for Nigerian clubs to be able to reach that height. But let me bring Ken Chonogo into this. Ken, I mean, he just mentioned that most of the clubs in Nigeria are owned by government. But if you look at Germany, I mean, the owners are not foreign. They are also German. So that actually helps. And they have this fans culture engagement with the clubs, which is really helping. Mr. Ken, do you have any question for Mario, or do you want to jump in on this?
Let me, first of all, before I take that, I want Mario to just take us just a few more minutes. I noticed that probably even in England here, the moment the final whistle blows, the fans are already deserting the stadium. But in the Bundesliga, after the game, fans still remain singing and dancing. Is there any incentive? You talk about this fan relationship, that they're having. What keeps them at the stadium even after the game is over? And you see this guy enjoying themselves. I mean, it may as if that it's like a home away from home. What is it that relationship? Is it what they give to them? Of course, I've watched a few matches here. I've seen, that maybe the entertainment and stuff, but not staying at the stand. Here, when you finish, you go over to the suits, go and get a drink, go and interact with them. But then the fans remain on their seats, singing and dancing. What is that relationship? What is there? Is it because it is their own, like you said, 50+1? No, they are the owners of the team, or what?
Oh, it's a variety of reasons, Ken. Because you see, one reason is that many people know that the stadiums it's outside the city circuit. And if we all leave at the same very moment at the final whistle, we will be in a huge traffic jam. So Germans are very reasonable. So they say, okay, the winning team fans stay a bit longer. Let's have a drink, and it's a social gathering. Because obviously, also in Germany and everywhere around the world, we are struggling what life changes bring to us. Power or electricity has become more expensive. Fuel has become more expensive. Food and everything has become more expensive. So when every 2 weeks you meet your friends and they talk about it, it's a social gathering. It's a social event. So that's why people like to stay, because you see most of them are also season ticket holders, which means you see the same individual every 2 weeks. So you build a relationship with that person. And because you have the same emphasis that you're following this and support the same team, you obviously, when you win, you can cheer together and you drink in happiness and in cheering mode together. And if you lose together. It's not the team who's lost. It's not the coach who's lost. We lose together, because obviously very often we are members of that particular club. So therefore our votes count, when the president is being elected, or when the board of directors is being elected. So that means there is a bond. We have a decision-making process in our overall aspect. So that's why the relationship's there. Plus the facilities are fine. We don't need to wait half an hour, 45 minutes to get a drink, because there is a sort of a sensible crowd movement analysis done by every football club. So when you go to a counter to get a beer or to get a drink, you wait maximum like 10, 15 minutes maximum. Sometimes even clubs, they serve drinks to your seat on the seating side. So the standing has to go back. So it is kind of as you mentioned, I mean, it is like a friends gathering, a social gathering aspect. And especially when your team is successful, it's perfect. And also we treat the away fans very, very important, because you see, every home game, 10% of your capacity needs to be reserved for the away fans. So first of all, the away fans know that they can get a ticket. Most of them buy them in advance, because obviously they need to travel 100 miles, 300 miles, 400 miles to the away team. But they know they have a separate area to be parked. They have a separate area to be safe, to visit that game and support their away team on the travels. And when the away team wins, obviously the away block is cheering and celebrating. And you can see that the home team kind of slowly, or the home fans kind of slowly move away, because they are frustrated that they lost the game.
Okay.
Interesting. I mean, I get that. So let's quickly talk about the one he actually mentioned earlier, which has to do with, of course, the sacking of Julian Nagelsmann and his replacement, Thomas Tuchel. What do you make of this? And is it really true that Nagelsmann's match day tactics plans was actually leaked to the press before the game?
Yes, that's very true.
Okay.
That happened a few days before the match, and obviously there is a huge conspiracy theory around it, and I believe that it has nothing to do with the team. I believe it has something to do with Julian Nagelsmann's relationship with the sporting director Hasan Salihamidzic and the chief executive officer Oliver Kahn, because obviously Julian Nagelsmann's way of coaching is different than a player so far who's reached to an executive level has achieved. Julian Nagelsmann is not a converted footballer. He wanted to become a footballer. He played on the amateur level quite high, but an injury obviously provoked him to get his career ongoing. So he stepped into coaching. And you see, then you have a 29-year-old Bundesliga coach here who starts his journey at TSG Hoffenheim, who's been entrusted to lead a team where everybody is surprised. And we talk in a radio show in Nigeria very often about the relationship of the dressing room with the coach. And Julian Nagelsmann interpersonal skills are very, very strong. That's why you hear today, this morning, Joshua Kimmich actually saying, I have no problem with Julian Nagelsmann. Yeah, if the board of directors says, yeah, it thinks or even infiltrates something that Julian Nagelsmann has lost a team, it's not like that. Leon Goretzka confirmed it last night in an interview after the Germany beat Peru 2-0, that there was no dressing room wrap-up. And he can speak for the players in the team and also the substitutes. He can't talk about every single player, but he mentioned for his relationship with Julian Nagelsmann being absolutely perfect. So there is the conspiracy theory is obviously that, yes, Bayern is inconsistent. Bayern has that sort of choice of winning 3 titles. Many European clubs, when they are on the brink of sort of losing confidence on the board level, get into actions. We've seen that in many clubs, very often at Tottenham Hotspurs, when they go into certain areas, they change the coaches. We've seen that at Chelsea quite regularly in recent years. We've seen it at Manchester United. Yeah. I mean, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had to go when he was sort of linking towards getting a title, and then he was replaced by Ralf Rangnick, somebody who never worked in the UK, lots of credibility issues with the dressing room, never won the dressing room for himself. But by itself, a very, very great coach. I mean, you can see what he achieves now with Austria, running with a 4-1 victory, starting the European Championship. So it is different. And I think, first of all, obviously, the board of directors were frustrated that Julian Nagelsmann went on a very short vacation, which he was absolutely right to go on a vacation because the teams have 5 days off. Friends of mine who play in the Bundesliga, they traveled in their 5 days off on World Cup break to Dubai, to other places in the world. So when he's time off, he's the right to do what he would like when it's his day off. I think Bayern needed just that impulse into their environment. And obviously then you go to take the weakest link, and the weakest link at that point in time is always the head coach and is Julian Nagelsmann. And then you create stories why there is a difference between the players, why they have different opinions. You create stories why the team is not consistent. But I had tweets from out of Nigeria asking me, he didn't perform very well. I said, if you win 8 European Champions League games out of 8, where can you be better? Yeah, if you win 8 out of 8, where can you improve? You can't win 9 out of 8. It's impossible.
Yeah, it's hard. Okay, just before we let you go quickly, Thomas Tuchel, his first game is going to be against Borussia Dortmund, April 1st. Will he be successful at Bayern? What's your take on him taking over from Nagelsmann?
So I'm a little bit neutral, and probably a little bit also contradictory to what Bayern has said. So Bayern, when Thomas Tuchel's first sentence was, it's a privilege, it's an honor to be contacted by Bayern, it's absolutely outstanding. I think it's sounded like pretty much exactly the same press conferences than when he joined Chelsea. Yeah, it's been a privilege. It's been great. It's been fantastic. All the stations he had, they were not easy. Yeah, so he left PSG in trouble. He left initially. He left Borussia Dortmund. Well, starting it. Sorry for that. He left Mainz 05, his first stop, in a controversial manner because he said Mainz is not good enough anymore. I am aimed to be better. So he went to Dortmund. So it was a little bit controversial already, his first departure. Then obviously the power struggle between Hans-Joachim Watzke, the CEO of Borussia Dortmund, and Thomas Tuchel, and the board of directors at Dortmund became so hard, so strong that Dortmund says, we're not going to renew your contract and we're going to release you of your duties after 2 years. Pretty much the same happened at PSG. And obviously with the new ownership at Chelsea, pretty much happened the same after Chelsea after 20 months. So not being a devil's advocate, but he's not the easiest of character. Bayern is not the easiest of clubs to manage with. And that's why I think both parties just said 2 years, it's what it is. Because we need to look at what it is. Because Julian Nagelsmann costed Bayern 25 million euros. Their salary package was 8 million per year. So the remaining 3 years bring Julian Nagelsmann another 24 million. Plus they already paid 16 million. So it's like a 65 million euro mistake, yeah, which is great, which is crazy. Such a costly expenditure is very hard just to remain on 3 titles and not following the long-term strategy of Julian Nagelsmann.
Yeah, well, Marilu, I want to thank you so much for your incisive analysis concerning these issues on German Bundesliga fans and also the sacking of Julian Nagelsmann and his replacement, Thomas Tuchel. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon.
It's a huge pleasure to be on the show. Thank you so much for having me.
Welcome back. We're 3 now in the studio. It's good to have you. Good afternoon.
Thank you, Sisi, for having me.
Here.
Thanks for having me. We are 3, but it was 1-0.
All right, yeah, it was 1-0. Ken, of course, that's what we were starting up with. The Super Eagles of Nigeria and Guinea-Bissau in Abuja. I mean, it's heartbreaking because the last time we felt this was when, we didn't lose to Ghana, but we failed to qualify. Yeah, we lost to Ghana. Yeah, we failed to qualify for the World Cup in Qatar. We're thinking after the 2 games we played against Sao Tome and Principe and also Sierra Leone, winning those 2, we felt we want to have a 100% record, since we didn't go to the World Cup. Let's just continue with that run. But somehow, Guinea-Bissau said no, and right there in Abuja, Friday evening, they halted that progress that the Super Eagles were making, and all heads are like, no one is happy concerning that result, especially with the way the players are played. What's your take on this?
Sisi, I don't know where to start from. You see, the other time we're counting how many matches the Super Falcons were losing in the room. Now we have lost 1, 2, 3, 4. I know, Sisi, calm down. The Super Eagles have lost 4 in a row. And the NFF president is saying, okay, we want to look at your body language before we invite you. I don't understand where it is that you see, the football coaching is like if the director of a movie, he will add the owner. The coach is the guy who is like the director. You pick your cast. You tell them what to do. The camera angle, the reaction, the voices, everything. That is what football is about. Have your plans. We're talking about Nagelsmann, whose tactics was leaked, which means if you are talking about when you are in possession, when you do this, when you are the master of the orchestra. You are the one that tells the players what to do. You pick your team and you choose your team. You invite your players. So when you are now blaming the players, when you invite 10 attackers out of 21, where are the people? Where is the midfield? You get it. So this is like blaming, I don't know, blaming who you are not supposed to be. I think let us say it's a misplacement in this particular case. From what we gathered, Ike Shoromu was contacted. Himself and Finidi George is the first assistant coach. Ike was contacted right there in May last year. 3 days to travel, they went to meet and say Ike wanted to be part of the national team. The man asked them that, okay, where is my contract? They said, no problem. Take your passport because we need to travel fast. We need to go to the US or the friendly, and then we play Sao Tome and Principe and play Sierra Leone. But before that time, we'll sort it out when we get to the U. We'll sort everything out. The man gave them his passport. They went to the USA. He contacted them over the half, and they said, "Don't worry, when they come back to Nigeria, we'll discuss with you." They came back to Nigeria. They went to Morocco to go and play Sao Tome because they were the home team. They still promised him, "Oh, we will look into your contract." You guys in the house, CC, you guys are there. I tell you this, as we speak, from May 2022, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March is coming to an end.
Still no contracts.
Ike Shoromu and the assistant coaches don't have contracts. They have not been paid a kobo as salary. They don't have bonuses. They don't have allowances. No salary, no, and so how do you expect them to perform? You have a coach and his assistants are not being paid. So the controversy that erupted when they said what the body language of the players, the body language of Ike, the contrast of these coaches, Finidi, they said, Finidi, you are not coming because we are rotating. Ike, they said, stay away, quote me this. They called Ike when Ike said, where is my contract? I cannot work without a contract. You guys have been promised, but I said, okay. They called him back and said, if you are not going to go, don't come. It is not about body language. They asked Ike not to come to the national team without a contract, without salary, without allowances. They said, don't come. And that is why they now went to meet and ask Barawa to come in. I think this FA has started well. And we expect them not, to continue what they are doing. But let us put the foundation before we put the superstructure, or else we are building an edifice that is bound to collapse.
Ken, let's take a look at how the NFF actually explain these Super Eagles technical crew rotation, because they have an explanation for this. And according to the statement that was released some time ago, they said it's part of cost-cutting measures that was instituted at the beginning of this current new administration. And also, they said they want to establish that rotational policy among the assistant coaches based on the high number which was agreed with all of them. And the last time the team had a program, Mr. Finidi George was the person that traveled for the friendly match in Portugal. And then this rotation policy is only for matches. When there's a tournament, all of them will be with the team. It continues. He knew that at the time, the next trip will be that of Usman Abdallah. Abdallah is simply taking his turn to be in camp for the program of the Super Eagles against Guinea-Bissau. Well, Mr. George, that's Finidi, will be around for the next program. It continues further that the other person who could have been contending is Salisu Yusuf. He has been sent, of course, this is the coach of the Olympic Eagles, the under-23 team. So it went further to say that there is no victimization, there is no disrespect for any of these assistant coaches. And of course, in the case you mentioned on the goalkeeper trainer, Ike Shoromu, it says that it's somehow peculiar because, according to this statement, they said it showed a clear lack of desire to be in camp for the matches against Guinea-Bissau. That's why he wasn't there. And we do not want to go into details because we have the utmost respect for all our internationals, including Ike Shoromu. It was only when we got clear signal that he was unwilling to come, and the head coach was in quandary that the coach, Pesero, requested for the services of Olatunji Baruwa, who was working with the under-20 in AFCON in Egypt, to help do the training with the goalkeepers. And the last statement from there is that we agree there are a number of challenges concerning contracts of coaches of national teams that we need to speedily resolve. The NFF is working on this, and these issues will soon be in the past. That's the statement from the Nigerian Football Federation when the issue of assistant coaches came up, because they said they are having a rotational policy, and that's the reason we are having these issues. Should we rest this, Mr. Ken, here?
This is, you are not doing anybody a favor. It's not as if national team is where you want to rehabilitate people who don't have a job.
Yeah.
You have a specific job you want to do, and then you have the person, you have the people who are qualified to do that job. You don't. It is not ministry where you employ everybody every day. If you needed 10 assistants, that is what we believe that are effective. You don't say you want to be rotating. I don't understand what that rotation means.
There is no money in cutting costs.
Yes, Sisi, this statement is not entirely true. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying here. It is not entirely true. The body language they are talking about here, Ike requested for his contract. They called him, they said, come to camp. He said, what am I coming to camp to come and do? Where is my contract? Where is my salary? They said they will get back to him. Eventually, when they got back to him, they said, don't come to the camp. That is what they told him.
Let me trade to the guys here in the studio. Okpeyemi, I'll start up with you. What do you make of this issue so that we can rest it and see how the NFF can actually come up with a concrete plan to have all the contracts resolved? Because they said they are already working on it. So maybe sooner or later we'll have that. 1
is shameful.
Okay.
2 is an afterthought.
All right.
3, the people in the finance department are not privy to this nonsense. This is absolute nonsense. We have cost element, fixed and variable costs. So if you are going for a tournament, you pay somebody. So whether you are paying Mr. George
for tournament, everyone will go.
You are going for a competition. You are going with your one. The other assistant manager is not that like you have 2. You are using 1. You are dropping 1 from national team, getting 1 from the other 23 team. So if Finidi had gone, you still have paid. So if Finidi is not going, you are still paying the other person. So where is the cost management coming from? This is not cost management. This is nonsense.
Theophilus, what's your take on this?
I think Ken aptly puts it, and Akpe has basically said it all. At the end of the day, if we do not structure this thing well, you are just going to put an edifice, a superstructure, and a foundation that is basically going to crash at the end of the day. It really does not make sense to me at all. And it's obvious on the pitch.
So let's rest this and quickly, of course, your take on the Super Eagles game. Let's dissect that game. I mean, what do you guys, I mean, it's, okay, yeah. Go ahead. I wanted to let us listen to...
Of the pitch, issues will always affect on the pitch.
Okay, you think it's a reflection?
Yes, and Guinea-Bissau is a country, Kwara State is bigger than Guinea-Bissau. Kebbi State is bigger than Guinea-Bissau. Sisi, registered voters in Kwara State are more than total population of Guinea-Bissau by 6,000. Not total population of Kwara State. Registered voters in Kwara State, they are 2,032,000. When you pad the population of Guinea-Bissau, it's 2,026,000. So Kwara State is bigger. They have more registered voters than total population of Guinea-Bissau, but see what we went through. With the players, the total, most of our players actually play more minutes on that pitch than their clubs. So that's what we said. All the pitch issues have come rubbed off on the pitch. And recall that 1996, God rest his soul, General Dida that passed on this morning said, football is the great-grandmother of all sports in Nigeria. So where is football today? Gone with General Dida.
Okay, maybe we'll take on track and field athletics and see if we can resurrect that to overpower what football is. Mola, what do you think? You watched that game. You said you would need something to be able to watch the one of Monday. To play like that
yes, because it was just an eyesore. And we missed a couple of chances that we could have easily buried. But then again, when you hear of the off the pitch issues that are currently encouraging the team, it's only normal for it to begin to affect the team on the pitch. A couple of people from different sources come out and said, probably the pitch was this, the pitch was that. But hey, the guys from Guinea came all the way down here. Did you see that ball control? In fact, when Ken was talking and he kept on playing over and over and over, at the point I had to turn my face away because it was a beautiful goal. But, you know, and they calmed down, they came with their tactics, and it worked for them. Now we have to go and play them away. If we are complaining about our own pitch, do we know what are we expecting when...
It's in Morocco, so
well, at the end of the day, we have to put up a performance that will lay this to rest.
Okay, let's listen to the vibes that he's talking about, the coach, immediately after the game. The fact that he said the Guineans were really lucky. I mean, the Guinea-Bissau were really lucky to have won that game by a lone goal. Why the Super Eagles were unlucky? Because they created so many chances, but they didn't have the opportunity to score.
We missed many goals. I think it deserves much more. We could have been here for another 1 hour and not scored. Sometimes it's happening in football. I am not happy, of course. I am sad, like my team. But they do the maximum. They did the maximum. You create many opportunities, clear opportunities. It was the bad day because if you play in the way like you play today, you beat Guinea. Very good luck for Guinea. Very good luck for Guinea, and very bad luck for us. Today you beat Guinea. Didn't lose Guinea. Okay, it's one match. One match any team can lose. One match any team can lose. One tournament no. One match any team can lose because can create many opportunities like us. If you want to see, if you see, you create many opportunities. You didn't score. For that, I try. I tell you, I believe if you play like you play today, you beat any team, not only Guinea. I think you played very well the first 30 minutes. After that, they score. Come some nervous, but I think in the second half, you show for everybody, for you also, that our team is much better than Guinea. Bad luck is happening in the football, in the world. Sometimes the best teams can lose one match this way. You create many opportunities, many opportunities. Even one time when Onash come, Osimhen go for score, Onash touching the ball. Today, everything bad for us, but no, only today, no more. If you repeat the same, okay, you need to improve our team, of course. You cannot see one goal, one central back shoot the midfield and put one player alone against us. At some point you need to improve. But if you repeat the same exhibition, same performance like today, you beat them 3-0 because no one team can take good luck every time. No other team can take bad luck every time. If you repeat the exhibition, the performance, the match like today, sure, with less opportunity, you score more. You score 2 goals against Sierra Leone with less opportunity. You remember a match against Sierra Leone? You create more today or against Sierra Leone? Tell me, you see the match. Many opportunities here today. Today, you command more, you control more, you do more for score. And against Sierra Leone, you beat 2-1, less alpha opportunity. Alpha, 50% from the opportunity today.
Okay. All right, I'll throw it to you. I mean, if we play like this, and it needs to, you acknowledge that we need to improve, then we will be able to beat them on Monday. What can you do differently to have the improvement for us to get a win on Monday?
You can't try the same thing all over and expect a different result. And he just indicted himself by even saying the only match he has won against Sierra Leone, perhaps that was, the chances we created here was not even up to 50% and we won. So that means the only victory for him was even a fluke. So I don't think the man is even expecting victory.
We beat Sao Tome 10-0. So, I mean...
Cecilia, Morocco have beaten Belgium. They beaten Portugal. They beaten Spain, and yesterday they beat Brazil. If you do not have a clear path on how you intend to go about achieving something, you just keep going around in circles. Yes, we created chances, have chances if you ask me, but then again, you want to call them chances. But at the end of the day, if what happened 2 days ago repeats itself again tomorrow, it's the same thing that will happen, and we are going to play them away. So what it's when hearing talk like this, and this man was coach of Venezuela and 10 games, only won. I mean,
no, that is the worst team in South Africa.
Are you sure?
Okay, he's our national team coach, Joseph Pesero. But Ken, I mean, you've listened to Joseph Pesero, and he says 50%. I mean, we create lots and lots of chances, but it just didn't happen to the Super Eagles of Nigeria. And if we play like this, although he admitted that we need to improve, we'll be able to beat Guinea-Bissau on Monday.
You really need my comment on this. Ogbe has spoken, Theo has spoken about this. Let the guy just put his houses, let him just put his house in order. They said he loved Nigeria, that is why he did this job. If he really loved Nigeria, I think the best he should be doing is, I don't want to say it, we all know what he should be doing. I mean, this job is too big. Nigerian job is too big for this guy, and that is the truth. We don't just go for something for the sake of it. And that is all I need to say in this. And I hope you guys will enjoy yourself in the studio.
I know.
Probably our fans, we've not been opening the lines. See, when it's happening to our fans, they will eager to contribute. I want to leave you guys so that our fans can join the show, and you know, with yourself and the guys right there in the studio.
All right, no dropping of pen today. Next Sunday, hopefully you drop the pen. Thank you.
I will drop my pen next week. I promise. I'm not worried. I will drop it. I'm dropping it now with my mouth, but I will drop it next week. Surely. You guys should enjoy yourself in the studio.
All right, we'll catch up with you on Sunday next week. All right, welcome back. And of course, Theophilus Agbalao is out, and we have Jimmy in the studio. Jimmy Kato.
Interesting times. Good afternoon.
How you doing?
I'm good. Interesting times, really. When you consider the fact that the Nigerian football firmament right now, we are in mourning, but then it's like we keep talking about that lack of philosophy. We don't have a football philosophy, a philosophy that actually permeates through our entire structure. So it's not about this game. It's about the entirety of what has been happening to our football, what's happening to grassroots football, what's happening to our league. Even when this administration came in, we're so delighted about, the way they handled matters, the way they handled the league, making sure, okay, there's now some kind of buzz around the NPFL. But right now, you consider how they are not able to deal with contractual issues. It's frustrating. I mean, if you want to ring the changes, make sure that you are not leaving anything to chance, you are not leaving anything to second guessing, or maybe people, or maybe some of your own guys having to complain to the media. Right now, we are seeing that there are cracks. Yeah. And it all came with negative vibes. Mm-hmm. We saw what happened with the training. I mean, why should they train in darkness? You had the logistic issue, the coaster, having to ride in a coaster bus and all that. I mean, all of those issues are things that they need to be deliberate about. And it starts with that philosophy, the football identity. What exactly do we do as Nigerian, football administrators to make sure our football is on the right path? All right,
Olafe is calling us from Augusta. Olafe, how are you doing?
Thank you very much. Ken, you should bring something. This is the second time you went to London like this. And secondly, the Super Eagles, the foundation, as the Ken said, is not good. And it's a shame to Nigeria that it's ex-players that have done to this to disgrace them. What's the meaning of saying you are rotate? What are you rotating? It have never happened in all the whole world for national team. No any national team that they will say they are rotate. Rotate what? That's number one. About the white man that is talking. I want to tell the man that in this country we are Africa, number one. Number two, in this Africa we are not collecting citizen salary. That is like the way they are going stadium here. We are here, we are working for money. And secondly, they are not giving us the improvement of the club. That is it. In the Europe salary. Whether you so that is why we don't, and our management of football in Nigeria is very, very bad. Everybody is looking money to their own pocket. That is the secret. All right. It is not proper for us to say, we have no who will win. Well, that is it. All so please, the way this NFL has done, there's no money. What do you mean by there's no money? And they don't have marketing department.
All right.
It's a money. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Olafe, for your contribution.
If we are still talking about this at this point in time, it's intriguing, it's interesting, because you consider the fact that it's supposed to be part of the licensing requirements at club level that you lodge players' contract. If you are struggling with contract issues with your own coaches, if you are struggling with rosters for assistant coaches at this point in time, ex-internationals, it's easy to blame the ex-internationals to say, okay, they play without contracts and all that because of the passion, because of the love for the country. And you ask yourself, what exactly is happening to the status of sports law, even in Nigeria? Majority of our players, domestic players, they don't like to engage sport lawyers to ensure, look, apart from our representatives, let's put everything down on paper. Even our ex-international, they need to know this. Don't take that job if you are not properly covered with a contract duly signed.
But you heard what some of them will just go, okay, you know what, just come here, let's quickly help. And because you're passionate, you just want to help, and then you think it's going to come. But let's take Udeme. Yeah, before you come in here. Let's take Udeme from Lekki. Udeme, how you doing? Good afternoon.
Hello.
Yeah, hello, go on. I can hear you.
Okay. I just want to contribute to the discussion. Okay. For me, if you listen to the press conference that the captain gave, he said, in quote, considering what has happened in our country recently, football is what makes us happy. Now, what you saw on that pitch is a psychological problem because of what had happened. The second one, the problem with football, I mean, if you privatize NFF, Nigeria will start making results. That is the truth. Pizarro is saying it's an element of luck. It wasn't luck. If you pick a 21 on the street of Lagos and ask him to give you a 23-man selection for the Super Eagles, I can assure you he will give you the best from defense to midfield to attack. It's not rocket science. So it's not a matter of luck. He needs to put it. He was appointed. Jose Mourinho said that Nigeria not very well when he got that appointment to criticize this Nigerian coach.
All right, Udeme, thank you so much for your contribution on the program. Well, you were going to react to what he was saying.
If as an employee, you walk into a trap of no contract, even those with valid written contract, they still have breaches. How much more when you're having verbal contract? Because the burden of proof is on you if it's a verbal contract. So, Alhaji was saying something that we are too big for that result. I will go back to what the president-elect just said. You can't just say we are giant of Africa. We should do what giants do.
Definitely.
We see what giants are doing in Senegal and Morocco.
Exactly.
So do what giants do, not just name dropping. We are giants.
Look at the way Senegal decimated Mozambique. That's why the fact that they were up, they were leading. They were still playing like they were hungry. How hungry are 5?
See the Ivorians. your attack has to be deliberate. Everything about it has to be deliberate, not training on that.
And Sisi, when we talk about philosophy, again, let's be clear. It is about what exactly we want to see, how we want to see. We have to be intentional about the Nigerian football, structure. What do we want to see? How do we want to play? Our visible pattern of play. How do we want our boys? Okay, how do we select players? You had a selection issue with Bami, you coming into that team. There were controversies around that.
Okay.
Now, it's not going to go away because at the end of the day, if these wrongs are not corrected, we will still complain.
All right, let's leave, because I know we can talk about Super Eagles for hours. I can't believe that we're almost done with the show. We are still on the Super Eagles of Nigeria. But then let's quickly, give honor to these fantastic players who've been doing so well for their countries, starting with Lionel Messi, greatest of all time. I'll give it your keyboard. On Saturday, you have the Football Federation are actually, naming a housing complex after Lionel Messi. And this is the housing complex,
Stuff of champions.
That's
greatness.
That's it. Okay, let's quickly talk about Cristiano Ronaldo before we leave the show. Ronaldo, of course, breaking another record.
Exactly.
It's amazing. 120.
The fact that Messi had won that World Cup and, has won more Ballon d'Ors than him, he will continue to look out for records to break himself. It's that duopoly, even if it's not the fanciest of duopolies at this point in time, they will continue to inspire themselves to do more, at least until they do retire. Stuff of champions for Ronaldo is going to continue playing. If Zlatan is still doing wonders playing, being the oldest to play in the European qualifiers, Ronaldo being the most capped at this point in time is fantastic to note, and it's something that really, really excites us that the two of them still really are doing well.
Yes, Messi got his 800 goal in that match. Wonderful, very wonderful free kick. And again, Ronaldo has scored more goals, but just think about it. If Messi was playing the like of San Marino, Manchester.
And Ronaldo still has the opportunity playing against Manchester and Luxembourg.
So if he played against them, imagine where Lionel Messi would have been. But take nothing away from
Cristiano Ronaldo. He's great. He's great. He's another GOAT. He's another GOAT. If you have 2 minutes to wrap this up, boxing.
Tyson Fury and Usyk.
What is going on?
We want to see this fight, but because of the fact that the promoters themselves, they are haggling over money, 70-30, donate money to Ukraine and all that.
Anthony Joshua making a comeback against Franklin in the US in April 1st. So
he has to make sure he wins that power.
His first time out in the US was his disaster.
Okay.
So he needs to get something.
He needs to win.
All right, thank you guys for coming on the program. It was fantastic.
Thank you.
We'll do it again next Sunday, right?
Definitely.
Hopefully with an Eagles victory.
Yes, we'll celebrate with that. That's what we want to hear. Thank you so much for watching.
No more room for apologies.
No, we don't want to read all apologies and everything. We want to just celebrate victory for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Something to cheer after missing out in Qatar. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Cecilia Omogbe. Have a great day.